Hello, reader. Thank you for joining us. This is the Christian Readers Community Podcast. On this podcast, we will be discussing with fellow readers and authors. You will never lack for good conversations and recommendations of Christian books. If you're a lover of literary works, fiction and non-fiction, then you have made the right stop here. Thank you for joining us again, and I hope you listen to every podcast that we get to put out for you. Thank you. Our guest on the show today is Barbara E. Kompik. Barbara is the mother of 3 beautiful children. One left this earth far too soon. She writes poignantly about her experience with Jesus and her son dying of pneumonia that turned septic. She has written 15 books. They include a collection of 8 books in a series of healing from trauma and abuse. She also has 4 books written about her son Dale in a journal form. An inspirational cookbook and a children's book round out her repertoire. Barbara is retired and helps others become published, many for the first time, and out of the goodness of her heart, she assists authors to market and sell their books to an audience that longs to read them. Married for 42 years, she lives with her husband in a 100-year-old house that they have renovated to call home. They are situated near the coast of Lake Michigan. Barbara is the president and founder of Lachey Nicole Marketing Solutions. Visit her website at bkbookshop.pe.com.
It's really an honor to have you here. I read this book you sent me. You're currently working on it, and you allow me, you give me that blessing of reading this book. And it's about the last moments of your son's life. Could you tell us about your son?
Yes, I can tell you. He was a wonderful kid growing up. He was mischievous and adventuresome, but he was a very deep kind of person, even growing up. And then in his high school days, he was very, very friendly, even as a little kid in a stroller. He was talking to people and in the stores and just having a blast with other babies and other strollers. But anyway, he became sick one day, and he was 31 years old. And he worked at a hospital, and he went to take care of homeless people on his way to work on his bicycle. And he brought them food and water and blankets and took their vitals and made sure they were okay. And other people would just pass them by and scoff at them, but not this son, not this boy. He was a wonderful kid and a wonderful young man, and he did get sick one day. He was living in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and when he went to ER at the hospital, they said, "You are so sick that we need to amputate your left lung." And they called us to get our permission because they had put him under to save his life. And they called us, we gave them our permission to amputate his lung. And my husband had asked, "How long before you operate? Because we'd like to be down there." And the doctor said, "No, we've got to operate in 5 minutes or else we'll lose him. And so my husband said, "Yes, go ahead and amputate. Save his life." So we went on down. It was an hour and a half away. And we got to the hospital, and he had gone through his surgery by then. And he was in a comatose state. They had put him in a deep, deep sleep so that he wouldn't move anything. And he wouldn't move his body in any way at all so that it would heal. And the doctors gave us a 5% chance of him surviving this ordeal. And so we kind of waited and waited and waited. And friends came around, and they started telling us what he would do for them as his friend, as their friend. And he would buy cups of coffee for people in coffee shops and ask people, how's your heart today? Instead of going up to them and asking, hey, can I talk to you about God? He came up with this bright idea to say, how's your heart today? And people would look at him and receive him and say, yes, you can buy me a cup of coffee. And I'm struggling with loneliness or my marriage or whatever they might say to him. So he said, okay, well, come on over to my table and I'll sit with you and listen to the struggles that you have. And I want to pray for you. And they always said yes. And he would meet people like this day after day after day, and became good friends with these people. And he made these strangers into dear friends of his. And it ran all the way across the globe. And he had people from Switzerland and Africa and Sweden, just all kinds of places that had wanted to pray for him while he was in the hospital. So I'll stop there and take a breath.
Yeah. As the host for this podcast, one of the privilege I enjoy is reading other people's books and reading it for free, if I might add. But
Yeah.
It's all good by the time I finish reading it, and I pick important lessons. But last week I was reading your book, and at first I started trying to tell myself, okay, hold on, try not to, get emotional, just try and hold it together. I just kept saying this to myself. But at some point, I started having this heavy lump on my throat. It was just too much. It was too much, and at some point I had to let it flow. I had to pour it out. At the point when I was reading his testimonies, the testimonies of people that reached out to him, I how am I going to put this? I'm trying to find the accurate word for. Okay, so at some point I just told myself, no, just stop. It was as if I was trying to tell the book, stop having such deep impact on me. That was just how heavy this book was. Seeing people testifying at them. It got to a particular point where I could not resist anymore. I had to drop the book and cry. I had a very, very good cry.
Mm-hmm.
So your son's life is a kind of life that you anyone who is a Christian would want to emulate. When did he give his life to Christ? And when did his love to serve humans begin?
Well, he was 4 years old and in daycare. And the girls that were taking care of him at daycare came to us when we came to pick him up and said, today Dale asked Jesus into his heart. And we prayed with him, and we are sure that he has Jesus in his heart. At 4 years old, he was thinking this. And so he grew up a very happy boy, very happy. And it wasn't until his high school years, no, I take that back, his college years, that he really got on fire for the Lord and was making a difference in people's lives in this grand way. So all the other years ahead of that, he was just being with friends and being the kind of go-lucky, happy guy that he was, and making an influence on them. But it wasn't until he got into college that he really made a difference in thousands of people's lives.
So I told my sister about your son's life and the impact it had on me. Then she described his kind of Christianity. She likened it to the Christianity of the first church, that's the early church, the time of after Jesus Christ. That was what she likened it to. And she told me that you can hardly find Christians like this.
Yes.
In this generation. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. Very much so. He was very much into studying the early church too. He went to Spokane, Washington to go to Moody Bible Institute and got a degree there in Bible, and spent many hours at a time with friends, texting and phone and calls and in person, in church, praying, talking about this very thing of how do you become a Christian in this day and age when everything around us is such chaos, and how can you be like those in the early church that had such fire in their hearts for Jesus. And that's what he was about.
I don't have any word for it, but anybody who reads this book would, get why I am, speaking so much, saying so much praises about this book. And for you as a mother, it was your own messages that actually got to me the most.
Really?
Yes. I read your journal entries, and in those journal entries, you kept surrendering and dedicating your problems to God. It was difficult, but you kept dedicating to God. You even wrote down that beautiful song, I Surrender All to Jesus.
Yes.
So what was it like for you, your husband, your children, when you were going through the last moments of your son's life?
Oh my. The last moments of my son's life were pretty dramatic. And what happened is I had left the hospital room of my son and left my husband there to watch over him that night. And I went down to the room that we were staying in the hospitality section of the hospital. And I walked in the room and turned on the light, and no big deal. I got ready for bed. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. And I got in bed then and settled in, and I could hear this sound coming from the space in my room. And I looked around and I tried to find if there was any noise coming from any kind of electronics or anything like that, like a TV or a radio, but there was none in the room. And I just sat and listened for a while. And in my mind's eye, I saw a vision of Dale and I standing at the edge of heaven, looking out into a sea of angels that were just crowded together just as far as you could see, left, right, north, south, east, west, whatever. It was incredible. And they were singing this humming sound. And it was just a low pitch and a high pitch and a medium pitch all blended together. And it was just really beautiful. And this lasted for a good 5 minutes. And I decided I better write what I had seen. Because in my mind's eye, I saw Dale step out from beside me on heaven's edge and step up into the ranks of the angels and began singing in his baritone voice, which he sang many, many times with. And he took his
God.
And
Yes,
I started
continue.
writing. Pardon me?
Yes, continue.
Okay. And then I went to sleep thinking, okay, I wrote what I saw, what I heard, and I'll just go back up to his room tomorrow morning. So I went to sleep. I woke up at about noon because it was so late. Oh, I forgot. When I looked at the clock, when I heard the humming sound, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, that's just the angels singing for my son, preparing to enter heaven for him. So I did go to bed then, and woke up the next day at noon, got up, got around, went up to his room, and it was about 1:30 or so that I arrived there, and in the afternoon, and I was the only one there. My family was not present, and I had looked at the nurse, and she was moving the equipment around very, very slowly. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "He's going." And I said, "Oh my. I said, "Do I have time?" And I kind of trailed off, and she said, "Yes, you should have about 5 minutes." So I took my place beside his bed and gazed down at him and knew it would be the last time I would see him. And then I looked at his monitors, and the lines were going down and down and down very slowly. His vitals were failing. And the nurse said, "It's time." And I looked up at the clock, and it was 2 o'clock exactly. The same time, 12 hours before, that I had heard the angels sing, preparing for my son to enter heaven. And 2 o'clock, he was gone. And it was the most horrific feeling in the world. My family suddenly appeared, and we embraced each other, cried our hearts out, and just had an amazing time of just being together and saying goodbye to him. And there was a song that my son sang at graduation when he graduated in 2004 from high school. He sang a song entitled Goodbye by, now I can't remember the name of the group. Plank Eye. And my husband had that song on his phone, and he played that song, and we hugged each other and cried, and I sang that song to my family because I knew the words to it by heart. And it was such a tremendous time of praise and worship, and knowing that Dale had gone on to see Jesus those very moments. And even though it hurt so bad, we were okay in Jesus' arms. And it was amazing.
You were such a strong woman. From the journal entries I read, you were such a strong woman. I don't know, how it felt like for you. I lost my elder sister at the age of 15 to a car accident. Yeah. But we didn't actually prepare for it. We didn't know it was coming. But so I can't imagine what it felt like for you, knowing that you were about to lose, someone you loved so much in the world, knowing that you were about to lose him. I don't know what it felt like for you, because and your son was a hero on earth.
Yes, he was called him that.
A wonderful person. And I don't know, since the day I read this book, no day passes by without me thinking about your son, Dale, and asking God, what do I do as a Christian? It's a wonderful book. And if anyone wants to know Christ deeper and imagines what it feels like to know God deeper and to serve him, to work for him, and to work with him, I think the life of Dale is a good example, a very wonderful example anybody can and should follow. It's a wonderful story. So really, I will say thank you very much for writing this wonderful book. Thank you for writing this, and thank you for not allowing his story to go untold. So you've written four books detailing the life of your son. The one I read is the one that has a collection of people's testimony of his impact on their life. So what's in the other book? The other books, the other three books.
What are the other books you say?
You said you've written books detailing his life, right? The last moments of his life.
It was. It's my journal, my spiritual journal, that I wrote the day that we got into the hospital and knew that he was in critical condition. And I wrote it day by day by day as things progressed and as things declined. And I've got a book entitled Heaven's Mist, A Mother's Grief for Her Son. And Show Me Your Glory is another book. And Dear Dale, a tribute to a friend in Letters and Photographs is what you read. And I have a little book entitled Losing Dale Z. And it's just a little thing. And have it pictures and essays written in there about him and his life and what he did to make a difference in the world around him, his short 31 years.
And what a powerful question to ask someone when you see them. How is your heart today? A very
Yes.
powerful.
Yes. It is a powerful question.
Well, let's pivot a little and talk about you as a you have a publishing firm.
Yes.
Where you help authors to publish their books. Okay, so tell us about that.
Okay.
Before
I began writing 20 years ago, my own, and wrote about my journey of healing through abuse and trauma, and just kept writing and writing and writing. And when I got into therapy, I started writing them into books. And then I started getting them published, and had people ask me to help them to get their books published. So I thought, well, why don't I do this in my retirement years and help people to get the goals set for themselves and to see those goals made. And so I help people with their books to get them published and get them marketed and get them sold. And we have a team of 8 people with print media, illustrators, graphics, screenwriters, and web designers. And so we cover a large arena for authors to get everything that they need in one place, instead of having to look at different companies and different places. But if they're happy with us, then they can continue with us, and we'll help them all the way through.
Oh, wow. How long have you been doing this?
3 years.
So you're very experienced in this field.
I'm sorry?
You are very experienced in this field.
Yes, very.
Okay, so if anyone wants to contact you, say either for your book or to get some marketing advice, how would they be able to do that?
They could go to my website, and everything is there. And a contact page is there, a quote page is there, our team pictures are there, write-ups about me are there, and descriptions of what we do for everyone is there. So that website is, I've got 2 addresses for it. I'll give you the simple one, bkbookshop.com. And shop is spelled with 2 P's and an E. So BK Book Shop, SHOPPE.com.
Barbara really has wonderful reviews written by other successful authors that she has helped. So if you'd like to check out the reviews before, engaging or asking for our services, then you can go to our website and check the description section of this podcast episode. You will see the link to our website, so you use it and go and check out the reviews. And if you need her services, you can contact her. All right, so Barbara, this has been a beautiful conversation, and I hope that when I invite you next time, you would be willing to come again.
Oh, sure. Anytime. Thank you so much for having me. I've had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. Oh yeah, me too. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed meeting Barbara, an author and also a marketing coach. And until I come your way again next time, saying stay safe, stay blessed, and bye bye, everyone.